We'll get a rock in. So we've got Toru 2 under the good symbol. Back at it with another deck doctor. Hit me with a pitch. What's going on? What's going on with this deck?
So this is a very aggressive Toru 2. I played against it. I played with this deck against you on stream once, and it's been updated since then.
Okay.
But this is generally the it's mostly the same idea, where it's just a lot of self discard, but with ways that but with a lot of benefit, with a wind up punch and one with nature. That's the word I'm looking for.
Sure. So what's the goal? Why bring it on the deck doctor today?
I just kind of want to get some last minute tune up, see if there's anything else that can be fixed up.
Sure.
I forgot I have only 2-1 with nature. I don't know why I brought it down. I might want to do back up, but
that's okay. We can talk about it. First and foremost, I like a lot of what you got going on choice wise. I guess that doesn't necessarily work with us. Let's do this here.
Shout out to Keenan Meadows. He also helped workshop this a little bit. So
okay, makes sense to me. Sorry, we're just still looking. We're moving and grooving.
Take your time.
I mean, this is a lot of classic, like, good symbol stuff I'm just going to suggest, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because I've played against not this exact list, obviously, but lists that are so incredibly similar to this list a lot. I think people have seen One with Nature and Toru working together and are like, yo, I want to make this thing happen.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really think the only reason why I didn't win the match is because I just went a little too aggressive without enough payoff.
Right. Okay, so let's just talk about my thoughts on Toru as a whole, right? So first and foremost, I think Flex Your Might is going to be a 4 of in a lot of these decks. Having played against this card, it's kind of schnetty. It's kind of really good, man. Even if, like, a lot of times, like, in the middle of the game, you draw into a Flex Your Might, and you're like, hey, I'm going to show you this wind-up punch, and you're going to show me whatever, right? The chances of you having another 6 damage move is so slim. The chance of you having even just like another attack, right? And then you have the luxury of, if you put a card back in their hand, right? You know what the damage of that attack is, right? If they can't play it again. Like, oh, this is a 4 damage move. Well, I've got a hardened jab, so I get to beat you. At least with that one, right? You have to have had another attack in order to do something. And so I think the draw is going to be incredible. And the thing that Toru has to have, honestly, is stun, right? Which is why you're playing things like Ricochet Charge. Does she have the air symbol? She does. Which is why you're playing things like Ricochet Charge for that bonus stun on top, right? This stun says that, like, they have a committed board. This card also says all your moves have stun 1 if they hit, right? Which your Toru are probably going to hit, right? That's
right.
The ultimate goal. And so I think this card is impeccable. It's probably going to be a 3 of. I think it's actually probably better than what Living Up to his example does. I know this card is good, right? So unless we like absolutely need it for like a low block, I don't think we necessarily need Living. It's good, but this is stay the same and make your things fast as opposed to just let's just draw 2 more cards. Go ahead. No, you're good.
For me, Living Up to his example, I really actually do like it, because at the very worst is a cantrip with a good block and a breaker.
Sure.
Because, like, it doesn't, the move does not have to have EX or powerful to play the enhance.
Right.
And you know it's also a card that's played on a form with a good block. Ready, Get, Set, Go. It basically serves the same purpose in that aspect, you know.
Sure. With that said, though, I mean that's the weakest part of Ready, Get, Set, Go. It's just the draw. But I understand your point of playing this card, and so I'm down to keep it if you'd like. Personally, I think something for the same low block slot. I think Go for the Win is just a better card for your deck because you're trying to be aggressive, and this card just screams aggressiveness. And you don't even lose the downside of Go for the Win of the Destroy because we've got Hardened Jab to pick those attacks up. Right? We build 2 attacks down, and we're like, I'll just Hardened Jab it back to my hand.
Fair.
That's how I feel, right? But like I get like this card is like it's -1 to your deck size, but you're also over your deck size.
Right.
And this card only works with Haymaker, right? I guess it works with Wind Up Punch as well. Yeah, it just works with 8 cards in our deck.
But it works with Wind Up Punch in more than one way.
Sure. Yeah, it's cute. If you like the card, I'm not gonna cut the card, right? But I think
I can at least do one.
Go for the Win is better. That's just where I'm at.
Fair.
Okay, let's look at the other attacks, right? First and foremost, I love that you're playing only 2 of Invisible Infiltration. If I could convince you to cut this card altogether, I would.
The only reason why you can't is because Breaker 2 is just too valuable. Sure. I can at least go down to 1. I think I after playing with the card, it's so mediocre. It just doesn't do anything.
Say it again. I want to make that my ringtone.
It doesn't do anything.
I love that. I think that something on the lines of like a Hardened Pummel, a Hardened Chop, a Mighty Punch, Setup Strike. I think all of these cards are just inherently better for doing the thing that you want. And truthfully, I think Mighty Punch is insane in your deck, just because of the amount of speed that you're allowed to give always, right? I know that like if I were to play good symboled Toru 2, I'm playing 4 Mighty Punch and 4 Flex Your Might. I think 4 Mighty Punch, 4 Flex Your Might is going to be meta next format because showing a 7 damage move, and then if you can put any amount of speed on this move, I'm gonna draw 2 cards. I'm a 10 hand size character that's just beating your ass, committing your cards, like doing like you just can't deal with it. You just can't deal with it. It also says that like you're not actually going negative with your one with nature, so you get to like play all of those. Like this card, I think is the good symbol Toru's saving grace. Truthfully,
that's mad funny.
I have to put so much effort into this card in order to block it. I mean, the issue with this card though is this thing right here, right? Is this sucks? It's a 3 mid block, but I just want to play him anyways, right? I just want to play him.
It's mad funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Hulking Grimace decks are laughing at Flex. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they got me. But that means that they didn't play their Hulking Grimace on that turn, which is probably fine. I mean, they just didn't play it.
Have Hulking Grimace that they have to use the block because I'm probably gonna kill them.
So yeah, there's the attacks. I think Ricochet Charge is fine. I'm personally a bigger fan of Heroic Strike, just because it starts out a little bit quicker, but I get like this card leaving the card pool is neat, it being the only card. Like it is an opener is very cool, whereas the other half of it is Heroic Strike is just like cool thing. And this card has a 2 low block, right, which we kind of only have on Haymaker or Wind Up Punch. And so like, yeah.
Part of the reason why I added Ricochet is because it's a decent little trick that also goes with Texas Smash.
Sure, hit me with it.
It's just like I can choose not to use the air enhance if I'm going to go into a Texas Smash, or I can choose to go to the air enhance, and if you block it, well, good. You just blocked a pretty worthless move. You know?
Right. Yeah.
I just think it's a cute card that works well with what I'm trying to do.
I think the other thing is this card only does 4 damage, and I think that's the biggest issue that Toru has. Is she can make any move hit, but just has to be valuable, which is why I'm down for things like Mighty Punch. I'm down for things like Setup Strike, right? This is a 5 damage move as opposed to 4. I think like a little baby 4 damage move just isn't gonna get there. If every move that you throw is meaty as hell, it just like fucking slams them, I'm down for it. But this is like kind of a do nothing card.
That's kind of where I'm thinking about probably cutting it for the Mighty Punch, and then probably one Invisible Infiltration for it.
Sure. So we'll put this down to 1. We'll cut Ricochet altogether. Right?
Yeah, and I'm
Understand?
probably thinking maybe
3.
hardened jab now.
You said, I'm sorry, say it again?
3 hardened jab to do 4 mighty punch.
4 mighty punch. I will say that if you include the jab down to 3, we've now made our curve a little tougher, right?
True.
As we look, this is a big 5 diff, and we just cut a bunch of 4 diffs to put in a bunch of 5 diffs, right? This card and this card are doing a lot of the same job. I think 3 mighty punch is probably the answer, personally.
Okay.
Yeah, I think 3 punch and then 4 jab. Jab lets you have hand advantage that says 1 with nature is useful, and I'm gonna go ahead and just push this up to 3. I don't think you necessarily need 4, but I think 3 is totally fine.
Yeah, I agree.
I also think that eventually you're gonna cut this card all the way out, and maybe even just in the sideboard. I think that because you're trying to play this Texas Smash, it's gonna feel so shitty to have Invisible Infiltration Texas Smash in your hand. It's just gonna feel bad.
Yeah. Part of my thing is that like Invisible Infiltration is mostly in there for the breaker block right now, because breaker is still really valuable even in good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Especially in good, actually, because good doesn't have a lot of attack deterrent. You know.
I just don't think you need it.
Fair.
I just don't think you need that card. I think you just like play a good game, and then this will just save you. And you could, I mean, you've got breaker here. You could have breaker here, right? Like there are options that you could have of a little bit of disruption, as long as you use it correctly, right? Breakering on the first thing. Breaker 2 feels really good if you want to just like stop their turn altogether, right? I breaker their first move and then they're just done attacking, but that means I didn't even use Toru's ability because like they're just done attacking, right? I kind of want them to string out a little later, use the resources, push it back in their hand, look at the top card of the deck, leave it back on top. It was a foundation. They don't even attempt to play it. They draw a foundation. That sucks, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I could go with. I mean, I can go without. Not a big deal for me.
I know. I want you to. I mean, it's your deck. Right? You get the final call. I'm just like I said, I don't an invisible infiltration hater, and so I just have to keep that rhetoric up for social media.
I mean, I'm not a hater, but I still admit that when I played it, it just didn't do enough. Like, yeah, it's cute that it has Black Bear, but it's not Black Bear. It's actually infinitely worse than Black Bear.
Correct.
So it's like I felt bad playing it.
I've done something in my chair, and it's moving around. It's weird.
Oh no.
Yeah. Earphone Jack. What's this card doing here?
I originally was there for the high block, and now it's just there for it's a foundation ready because I am an aggressive deck, so I want to have at least a little bit of consistency.
I hate it. Can I cut it? I'd rather just play foundations, right? Like, we'd rather just have them. You don't have a way to cheat this card in, so it just says that the turn that you play this card, the turn after, you're just down a foundation and you're up a foundation, which you would already be. The real point of this card is to get the extra speed, and you get to do it on 1 card, maybe 2.
2.
Yep, 2 cards. You get 8 cards in your deck that get to trigger +1 speed. I don't think you need this card.
Nope.
Yeah. Living up with the example, we're not going to touch. Let's talk about the... Say again?
We can cut 1.
Sure. And then put in the go for the win?
Go for the win, and then 2 Flex Your Might. Go for 4 actions.
4 actions. 2 Flex Your Might?
Yep.
Love it. You're going to love this card, man. You're going to play this card, draw 2 cards, and you're going to be like...
I've already loved this card. I loved it on face. I just didn't think it would be amazing in this deck, but I'm being convinced.
What's this number look like?
About that, actually, yeah. 60-ish area.
Okay. The big thing we have to do here is we got to fix our high block number. We got to get that just a little bit higher. I think that this number is fine. I mean, it means we either just add cards or whatever. The big high blocks that you're missing are just new training method, or like harden, which I didn't even put on the list, or to increase the numbers of things we already have, like pull no punches could go up. And so what are your thoughts here?
I'm gonna say no to new training method. I'm kind of trying to stick to safety 5
Sure.
or higher. Like new training method's really good, but not quite what I'm looking for right here. You know.
Okay. And then, does that mean I can just put pulling a bunch of stuff to a 4 of?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It makes building a little tougher turn 1, but after turn 1, I think you're safe.
Yeah, I think we're good.
How do you feel about 4 cheerleader?
I like it. I think that it is. I think regardless of the response, I like the first form. Like legitimately, I like the first form. I don't care if I give them a foundation that doesn't quite reach them over that level, because I'm getting a foundation too, and it just helps me aggress.
Sure. I think this card's not great. Personally, I think this card is a little lackluster. I think it's like a 2 or a 3 of at most, but if you like the first form, I'm down for it. I think the first form is not very good. I think giving them a foundation from their deck is bad. I think giving them a foundation from their taking a foundation out of their hand is very good. If it said that, right? If it was like a unique foundation that took from hand, I'd be all in. But giving them just a free foundation is like whack.
I suppose. I don't know. I liked the first form. I can at least cut it down to a 3 of, because I do want to have the first form as a utility, even if I'm not always getting the response.
Sure. I think 3 is totally fine. Any means necessary at a 4 of?
Yes. Because one thing I was running into when I was playing the deck is that I would discard cards and then I would just run out of a hand really fast. And while passing the torch helps, I think having the pseudo balance fighter is just really valuable for me.
Fair.
That said, I've had the concession that I may cut this in the future, but right now I want to try it at 4 to see how I feel.
Makes sense to me. I mean, the good symboled high block foundations that set 3 gives you are so niche that they're not necessarily worth it in this deck. Friend of animals, not needed. Dexterous appendages, not needed. Hype man, not needed. And so we're kind of like stuck in this idea of like kind of the best high blocks that we have might just be Bonds of Friendship, Pull No Punches, New Training Method, which you don't want, and then it can't be fixed. Like those are just the high blocks that we play with, and we just got to get over it.
Yeah.
Defense wise, I don't think I like the two specialists on the main board. I think that you'll probably want to put in the 3rd in the side, because the only real defense that you have is just specialist combined with high value target. I could easily seeing preparing going down to a 1 of to put another specialist, but I think like mainboarding 2, sideboarding 2, this is just good sideboard bait.
Yeah.
Which is where I feel about it.
Yeah, the part of the reason preparing was in there is because I did want to kind of hard focus on the self discard with the wind up punch, because I personally think wind up punch is nuts. I love this card.
Yeah, this card's very good in your character, right? So sometimes eventually it's a 4 diff, and as soon as it's a 4 diff, it gets +3 speed for free. That's good. Yeah, that's super good.
Yeah, I've fallen in love with this card quite a bit, so that's why I'm trying to kind of make it work.
Makes sense to me. Besides that, man, I don't think there's a ton in this main board that I can really mess around with. I think like the only thing that you have to really look at is like, what do the actions give you? When do we cut the invincible infiltration? Do I need 4 wind up punch? Can I get away with 3 because it's a 5 diff sometimes, right? I think it's like these little small things in order to make the deck tighter, and then it might just be sideboard, you know?
Yeah, I did actually have a sideboard built that I'm gonna have to adjust now because we have 4 pull no punches in the main.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I did add to the sideboard was So Manly. I think that card is going to be very nice as a sideboard option for me now.
I don't love it, but it does have the good symbol, so like I guess. I think playing things like I just only think of it as the back-to-back manly experiment. college dorm room. What is this card called? What is this card called? Male bonding is what this card's called. Male bonding. I think male bonding under the good symbols is better than this card in every which way possible. I think me building one on a 1/5 low block is way better than them stuffing their card after. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a big So Manly hater. I think taking the damage is spooky.
Well, I like it because it goes with cheerleader. Because oftentimes when I'm making their attack flash, I'm not blocking.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. I like that. That's neat. Oh. Yeah. Besides that, man, I think you're gonna push Flex Your Might up to. These are my predictions. You're gonna push Flex Your Might up to a 4 of. You're gonna get rid of invisible infiltration for some other move, right? Even like a 1x heroic punch, or heroic strike, or whatever the card's called. And then you're gonna figure out like what this looks like. Like maybe it's 4/1 with nature, and then -1 preparing, or self-sacrifice needs to be up, or something. So on. You're gonna figure it out. But I think this is like to the point where like doing more deck doctors on good Toru. I'm not sure how much more I'm gonna be able to say.
Yeah, I think we reached the point of experiment and just see what works instead of just kind of theory crap, you know.
100%. With that, man, any final thoughts on the deck?
No, I really like it. I actually was thinking Manly Punch before, but
Mighty Punch.
I always Mighty Punch, not Manly Punch. But yeah, it's like, this is a 7 damage move that just is kind of funny.
Yeah, it's a 7 damage move that just gets fast. It just gets so fast.
It's very fast, especially with one with nature and just various other things. It's very funny.
I love it. All right, man. Any final thoughts before we get you out of here?
No, I'm good.
All right, man. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for the support on Patreon. Okay.
Thank you.
Peace.
Bye.